Down. All right, there we go.
Outstanding. Well, thank you everyone for joining us on tonight. My name is Tia Glenn and I am your host on this evening, and I am excited to be with all of you, and you all are in for a treat. We have a dynamic speaker getting ready to take the mic right now. I'm telling you, this gentleman is highly educated, graduated from one of the top Ivy League universities in the United States, Duke University, dual degrees, wonderful professional, mentor, financial guru, and he is about to bring some information that I know will change the trajectory of your life. So if you're not in a quiet space, I encourage you to get in a quiet space, because you're going to want to take copious notes as he goes over this information, because what he is about to share with you tonight can put you on the path to complete financial freedom. I know a lot of you had some goals when you were checking in about residual income, investment income, and we are going to talk about all of that on tonight. So it gives me great pleasure, excitement, and exuberance to bring to the stage tonight Mr. Richard Harden. Mr. Harden, are you ready to share this life-changing information on tonight?
I am. I'm so excited. And I really want to thank you for just taking the time out to host and help us out with welcoming everybody to this call. As you were sharing your excitement, I started thinking I got to do something to impress you. I got to levitate across the room or something. But before I say anything about my topic or the state of finances for people in the world today, I've got to give it back up to our hostess, Miss Tia Glenn. Because I don't know if you noticed this. Whoa. She got on here, hosted, invited, welcomed everybody, but she did not even tell you her name. And that's a real servant spirit. But let me tell you her business. In her daytime, Tia's been CFO of a major television network up there in the DC area. She and her husband Bobby were already successful as real estate investors, as parents, and most importantly, contributors to their community. But when she started to share the information and understanding she had from her years in marketing and finance with our community, not only did she create an additional asset, she put herself in a position to accelerate what was already a stellar plan that she and Bobby had in place. So I would be remiss if I ain't have y'all. Do me this favor, come off mute, wake up a baby, startle a dog. I'll give it up for Tia Glenn.
Great job, Tia Glenn.
Tia Glenn, yes.
Good deal.
And but for the people that are joining us for the first time, the person that invited you for a cash flow conversation where we're going to talk about the things when it comes to money that were frustrating to me in my early career. I won't spend a lot of time going through my story. I'll just lace that in as we go through our conversation. But here were the questions I found myself asking. After all the great things that Tia said about me, the education, the degrees, the work in corporate America with some of the biggest companies in the world, when it came to money, I still had 5 questions. I wanted to know where my money went. Is there anybody on the line that ever wondered where your money went? Yes. Want to make sure I'm talking to the right people.
Yes.
And then if you found out where my money went, is there anybody that wanted to know how can I get my money back?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Third question. Once I get my money back, what can I do to make sure that my money stays with me so it can do more for me?
Yes.
Question 4.
Definitely.
Is there a way that I can make some more money without getting another job?
Okay.
And then number 5, how can I have my money make me more money? If you had those 5 questions about your money, my goal during this conversation is to go through a set of strategies that allowed us, that'll be interesting. I turned on transcription. I know that I'm Southern, so that I know some of these words won't come up the same way, but we'll see how we do. Is that okay?
All right.
But if you think about the formula that we taught, because here's my fundamental fallacy. I was taught a formula for success in America that was designed to produce something other than the result I wanted. I was taught, go to school, get good grades so that you can go to college, get a degree, get a good job with benefits, and live happily ever after. I don't know where all of you are from. So do me a favor, type in the chat where you're from and if they taught that same formula where you're from. Now, second question, while we're getting the feel for how far this message is going and where people are, the frustration I found was when they taught it and I did it to the best of my ability, I found myself not having the result I wanted because I wanted to be wealthy. Who wants to be wealthy? So fundamental shift. I hate to disturb the formula that we were taught, but here's what you got to understand. If the horse has died, dismount. If it didn't work that way, study what wealthy people did. And you study wealthy people across time, there's a fundamental formula, simple formula really, that if you think about it, the wealthiest people that you've ever thought of have used this formula. They took some cash or something that they had and bought, built, or grew an asset, whether we're talking about stocks, bonds, real estate, commodities. That asset, once it was in place, the way you could tell it had become an asset was it produced cash independent of them. And they ran this same formula. So when my mentor introduced this formula to me, I said, I got it. That's simpler than what I'd already done. There's only one problem. I ain't have any cash, meaning for most Americans, this is the dilemma that we face. It's 4 roadblocks between us and the assets that we like to build. And if we could just remove these roadblocks, we'd be able to build more assets that could create more cash. Has anybody on the line ever heard of taxes, debt, big business, and inflation?
Yes.
If you ever wanted to know where the money went, it went right through these 4 quadrants. Because if you think about it, taxes and debt are married. If you work the first third of if you work for someone, let's say it that way, if you work for someone, first third of your income goes off the top in the form of income taxes, and every after-tax dollar that you have, anything you could use it for, it gets taxed. If you buy something, you get a sales tax. If you get a home, you get a property tax. If you got a car on your birthday, you get an ad valorem tax here in Georgia. If you got, you know what? If you save the money and get interest on it, the interest gets taxed. And because we're so heavily taxed, we're taught to be comfortable with going into debt. Taxes actually cause debt. If it wasn't so much getting taken off the top, we wouldn't borrow on the bottom. But with debt, now the things that we're conditioned for the rest of the American dream, because am I the only one, or is there anybody else on the line that grew up wanting a house, a spouse, 2.5 kids, a white picket fence, and a dog named Spot?
Yes, I did.
Okay, all the movies, all the TV shows, all the cartoons, and some of them, even the dogs had dogs. And so you knew there was something wrong with the formula, but here's the problem. You don't have the $400,000 for the new house, Miss Glenn, don't worry. We'll give you a mortgage. You don't have the $50,000 for the new car, Miss Brown Watts. We'll give you a car note. Oh, you don't have the $100,000 a semester for your students to go to school, Darrell? Don't worry. We'll give you a student loan. And long after we're done with those things, those debts are still with our families. So that just those 2 things, 1/3 plus 1/3, that's 2/3 of the income off the rip already gone to those 2 entities. And because of the relationship, they actually have children. I call big business and inflation. They're the rest of the 4-figure family, because big business has all of their marketing holidays. We're hitting big business this time of the year, by the way. Have you noticed?
Yes.
Everywhere you go, suddenly everything's orange and yellow. You got costumes, candies. It's the beginning of the month, but they're talking about Halloween. But do you know that every 30 days, close to the last pay period of the month, there's another holiday to get that last little bit of money that we had left? Oh, you know, follow me down the calendar. November, you got Thanksgiving, followed by Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Tech Tuesday, and they added Brown Thursday. They don't even stand for the whole day. Right? In December, you got Christmas. In January, it's New Year's. February, Valentine's Day. March, you got spring break. April, Easter. May, Mother's. June, Father's. July, Cookout Day. August, back to school. September, you got Labor. We get one day off, William, to celebrate that we went to work. And then you back around October. 12 months of spending. That doesn't include the holidays, but you put that together with inflation, where big business drives the cost of things. In normal years, we call big inflation the silent killer. But does everybody agree that inflation is talking good and loud this year?
Yes, absolutely.
Like if you notice how much more the basic necessities cost, like if you put gas, milk, bread, and eggs together, a lot of those things have doubled. But if the average person hasn't had the opportunity to double their income, you find them falling further behind. But understand, this is not a doom and gloom conversation. It's a solutions conversation. And the solution, believe it or not, everybody on this line, without even knowing all of you, you probably have access to the solution. The question is, have you been given the access, the education, and the insight to use it? What do you mean, Richard? Well, listen, a home-based business actually can put you in position to solve all 4 of the roadblocks. And what do I mean? I don't mean you have to own the home. If you have a place that you live and a social security number, that opens the door for you to add a 1099 home-based business to your portfolio. And as a home business entrepreneur pioneer for the last 20 years, there's not been a better time to take advantage of the tax advantages, noting how the law skewed toward business owners during that 2018 Trump administration. Because now, if you had a business, potentially you could get an instant pay raise from your job, and the things that are expenses in your life become deductions. It's the same bills. You just get treated differently by tax code classification. Now, at the same time that you get the benefit, do you know that you could hire your children? Like, Darrell, I wish we had 3 kids around here for the whole time I've been in home business. I never knew how to properly position them to understand entrepreneurship and to begin to leave that legacy. And then the best thing is now, because of the way we structure the assets, we're able to create unlimited income independent of our time. Put that in your notes. The secret to wealth is having income that's independent of your time. Time freedom is one of the quadrants that we're going to talk about. Now, here's the concept. We partnered with my mentor. Like I'm the first to say, I did not invent income shifting, but I've mastered it. I learned from Brian M. Bean. He's a Michael Jordan of income shifting. I've known him since we were very young men, and I watched him retire from corporate America. He worked for Bank of America at the time at the age of 22, made his first million in his 20s. And one of the things I love about Brian is he's humble enough to admit that he lost all of it because he didn't have strategies to protect his money. Put that in your notes. You need strategies, not just money. Meaning if you don't have a way to control the flow of your cash, making more won't help. But when he regained it, he gained the perspective on this whole process. And as mentor to millions, he's traveled all over the world, all over the country. He took the asset of a business that he started in his home, built that thing up to where it generates like $1,000 a day, but using this 6-figure playbook. We teach people how to do 3 things that we increase and 3 things that we decrease. Matter of fact, let's make this interactive. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
I'm not that good at TV show, but I'm great to have a conversation with. So everybody with a right hand, show me your right hand. Now, if you want your taxes to go down, point 1 finger down. If you want your debts to go down, point 2 fingers down. And if you want your bills to go down, point 3 fingers down. Now, if all 3 things went down, would your stress level go down?
Absolutely.
Of course it would. But then at the same time, if we showed you a way to increase your credit score, would you want your credit score to go up?
Yes.
Would you also like for your income to increase?
Yes.
And then what about your cash flow?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's our process. That's our premise. That's how we get cash back to people. Put this in your notes. Your money is going to make somebody wealthy. The question is who? Right now, it doesn't take research. It doesn't take my notes. All you got to do is know that the U.S. Treasury and the Federal Reserve have the 2 largest bank accounts in the world. Ask yourself a question. Why is that, Richard?
Why is that?
No. Ask me. Don't ask yourself. Ask me. What? Why?
Why?
Because they get paid every time you get paid. I'm sorry, every time we get paid. Every time we get paid, if you noticed on your check, the company reports a gross, they pay you, they pay the taxes, and then they pay you the net. That means the government got paid first, yes?
Yes.
And then when that money goes direct deposit to the bank, they have the ability to loan it. We're on that fractional reserve system. They can loan $10 for every dollar we put in. So they get the money. We got to shift the money back from them into our accounts. And in our partnership, Brian found that way. Oh, by the way, this is one of the assets that he created based on this concept. He had the vision. He wanted to buy some land, bought 20 acres of land right off of Camp Creek Parkway in Atlanta, Georgia, with a 4-acre lake. And his concept, he was going to build his dream home on the lake. But then he started thinking, what can I do to have this home become an asset? What he found out was now that Atlanta's a new Hollywood, all of these movies and commercials are needing a place to shoot, and there's just not a lot of water in Atlanta. He started renting out the lake, and one day he had some people pull up. They put a hot tub out there and a TV on a tree, and he said, he signed a disclosure. He didn't tell what was going to happen, but the next day he saw his house on the Georgia Lottery commercial.
Wow.
So that Powerball, again, he took some cash, he bought the asset, and then he developed it, started looking at different ways, different things that he could do. Right now he's building an amphitheater in his home because he's a traveling speaker and does location events. Now he's able to deliver keynotes from home, and he's teaching these same secrets. And that's the blessing. Yes. Like, you don't have to rely on the person who introduced you to this conversation. They might not even be on the line, but we have a system of sharing the concept and getting access to a team of experts who will help you implement, and a team of educators who will help you teach and train the philosophy as you expose new information to new people. Everybody say, I expose.
I expose.
As a matter of fact, let me make sure that I make this concept clear, because sometimes people get lost in what I mean. Meaning, I want you to look at the person that invited you to this particular Zoom, if their camera is even on. If their camera's not on, send them a text message or hit them in the chat. Say, why are you acting funny? We're supposed to be having an interactive conversation. What's that person doing right now? I'm gonna give you a hint. They're not doing anything unless it's me. They are listening, observing a conversation, leveraging my expertise and experience, and building another asset part-time from home. And you ask yourself the question, well, what's the asset? What's the concept? Well, we partnered with a company called Make Wealth Real Financial, MWR Financial for short. And it's the home of the financial makeover, the complete financial makeover. And to get the elephant out of the Zoom, the investment to get our team of experts to help you run the cash back play, to get cash back into your house, where they lower your taxes, destroying debts, shredding my bills, raising my scores, growing my assets, and increasing my income. It's $99.97. It's $100 a month. But what's amazing is what this team of experts has been able to do for people to start the process. Because understand, to run a play where you take cash to buy or build an asset, you got to get your cash back. I know some people look at that number, they say $99. Oh no, it's a bill. Well, do you have any other bills that reduce your taxes?
No.
Or get you out of debt or lower your other bills?
No.
Right.
It's a different category of investment in this membership. And I see some folks that have been able to take advantage of the membership so that you don't get bored with hearing my voice. Tia, Pia, Javon, and Ms. Auntie Gwen, would you guys be in a position to share briefly what the experts have done to help you get cash back into your homes? And then we'll talk about, once we get the cash, how we convert that into assets.
All right.
Yes.
All right, let me put you on spotlight so that they know who is talking. Let me find you. Put your hands up. There's Gwen. Hey, Auntie.
Hi, how are you?
Fantastic, fantastic. Now give us those quick, because I know I am running a little behind schedule, but I intend to make it up. So give me 60 seconds or less. Rapid fire. Let me know what the experts did for you.
Well, good evening, everyone. Well, I have been retired, and I wanted to talk about the amazing experts. I thought I couldn't get extra income, but these amazing experts gave me an instant pay raise of $85. My spouse, he got $1,000 back in his check. We both took that money and we combined it. We eliminated debt. We paid off 2 credit cards, Ashley Furniture Store. We also paid off $20,000 in medical bills. We hired our children. Our credit scores are up. My credit score was a 543. Today it's a 689. My husband was a 600. His is a 715 today. We're headed to the 800 club. We hired our children. My daughter, Ashley, her credit score is up 25 points. My daughter, Shaniqua, her credit score is up 10 points. So
Excellent.
we are a family that's taking our assets, helping our children to get in front of our financial wealth.
Come
Thank
on
you.
now. That's awesome. That's awesome, Glenn. Generational legacy. But what most people don't realize is that retired people are on a fixed income, but today's dollars won't pay tomorrow's prices. They were able to get a raise, increase the credit. And here's the best thing, able to pass down good habits to the people that are coming next. All right, who's next?
I'll go.
Okay, jump in, Pia. Quick,
Hey,
rapid fire. It's a lot of y'all.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes,
All
we hear
right.
you.
So before MWR Financial, I was swimming in debt. I mean, as an educator, I was making in excess of $80,000 a year, but it was going through my hands.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was uploaded a couple of pieces of paper
Mm-hmm.
to the experts. And within about less than a week, they came up with a debt-free plan for me where I would be debt-free 41 years and 2 months sooner than the creditor's plan.
Wow.
This alone to save me $125,503 in interest.
Come on now.
Oh, that's great.
44 years and 4 months was my death sentence
Wow.
for the creditors.
Man, that is,
MWR's plan got me down in 3 years and 2 months.
and now
Yes.
with the $100,000 plus that you don't have to send to the creditors, now we're finding the cash to get these assets.
Yes.
Okay.
And not only that, I was able to take that cash and with them elevating my credit score, and I was able to purchase a car of 5.4%
Yes.
interest. And now I'm driving a car of my dreams, an Audi Q5.
Come on,
And I
right
love
out.
everything that I
Yes.
want in my life.
Man, you know how they look at that one teacher that drive up to the parking lot with an Audi. They're like, what she doing something on the side. And awesome. Congratulations. All right, let's see, Javon, Monifa, and then I'm gonna run through some things and then we're getting out of here because I got some big news about other things happening. All right.
Okay.
Who's first? Y'all pick it and jump in. Let's go.
Okay, I didn't know I was on the list. Sorry.
I found you.
Anyway, you're doing an outstanding job. Listen, MWR saved my life as a single mom, back up against the wall. Things are always robbing Peter to pay Paul and Nancy and Sue. They got me back $503 on my check. They made me tax efficient. They said I was overpaying taxes. That's over $12K back into my household.
Nice.
I was able to parlay that money into the debt elimination, right? My credit went up 107 points from a 644 to a 751. So once that happened, I did what I had to do and I refinanced my home and I got a interest rate from 4.25% to 2.875, saving me over $34K in interest.
Wow.
Okay. I just want to seal the deal real quick so I can hit it and quit it. I filed my taxes last year and lo and behold, because I have a 1099 attached to my W-2, 78K is what I made, but because I have this business attached to my job, I was only taxed on 20K. Listen, winning over here.
Nice.
Come on, we're gonna talk about this. I mean, and it's all about strategy. Some people get so creative, like you gotta sell everything to everybody. Let's start with getting your money back. Outstanding. So let's see, Javon and Tia, and then we're gonna rock and run.
Come on.
Y'all pick it. I'm not choosing this order, but go fast.
Come on.
Go ahead, Fitz. Go ahead. I'm gonna go last. I'm gonna let ladies go first.
My man.
Such a
Tia,
gentleman.
Tia.
Thanks, Javon. So really quick, working with the experts, I was already tax efficient. That's what I do in my day job. But I was able to increase my credit score. I had good credit, but it was in the mid 700s. So working with the experts, I was able to raise my score 78 points. And I'm sitting at a 828. So once that credit score went into that top tier, we were able to refinance the home that my husband and I purchased just a few years ago and lock in a 2.25 interest rate over the life of the loan. Also, and that saved us about $270,000 in interest over the life of the loan. And also working with the experts, we have been able to also reduce our taxable income significantly by adding this home-based business. We have gone from paying the government 5+ figures a year to getting a refund for the first time in about 16 years. So I
Wow,
am
that's
super
winning.
excited about working with the experts and adding this asset to our portfolio, because that's what it is. Adding a business is an asset to your wealth. So I am super excited. Thanks for allowing me to share.
My
Awesome.
pleasure. My pleasure. And I'll bring you back to talk about some of the creative things this has allowed you to do in your real estate investing and in, in other asset growth. All right. And Javon, finally a fella. I was like, wait a minute. I did not get enough volunteers with base.
Man, I don't think all of this gonna fit in the 1 minute, Rich.
Run it. Auction style.
Yeah, but being that I've been through everything, I just go ahead and start with the W-4 adjustment, uploaded my 2 pay stubs and my tax return, and I was able to get a $500 instant pay raise on my job without having to work any more hours. I asked my boss, so that's $6,000 I put back into my pocket cash flow for the year. Then I didn't take that money and go ball out with it. I took that money and I applied it to the debt elimination plan that the experts laid out for me 3 years ago when I joined this company. And what I found out is that my creditors had me in planning being in debt for 27+ extra years. But with the MWR financial game plan, they got it down to February of 2022. So I'm debt free officially. This feels good being debt free for 8 months, not having to duck Peter and Paul at the same time and figuring out who I'm gonna pay first. So with me becoming debt free this year, that also catapulted to my credit score increasing tremendously. I uploaded my 3 credit reports and I simply walked away, and they increased my credit score 420 points. So I'm currently at 756. Wow. They told me by the middle of this month, I'm projected to be at a 781. And what that has done for me, that has put me in position with my credit score increasing to start my Airbnb venture next. So
yeah, boy, that's one.
And this is phase 1. So everybody, I want you to file away in process. The first thing that we did was we went and looked for the money that was leaking out of our lives, right? They say that you can never fill up the bathtub if you got all the holes taking the water out, right? So first step, get your money back, get tax efficient, get out of debt so we're not revenue to somebody else. But now that you got your cash, the asset building phase. So before I jump into that, y'all give it up one more time for for Pia McLean, for Gwen Dotson, for Tia Glenn, and for Javon Rowland for being transparent enough to share that there were some things that experts can help them do better than they could do for themselves and taking action on it. Because here's what happens next. Is if you think through the process, oh, by the way, you don't have to become, I know Tia is literally a tax expert. You don't have to be a tax expert, a CPA, none of those things. When you join the membership, you get access to a portal where you go upload documents. If you've ever uploaded something to Instagram or Facebook, you can upload to here the 2 pay stubs. They ask you a couple of questions about your business structure and they revise your W-4. In my case, I've been overpaying taxes for years, William, to the tune of $636 per check. They got me $1,272 of my cash from my job back here without having to sell anything, work any extra overtime. Now I had cash. They said, Richard, one bonus we just added, now that you're being efficient in your record keeping, we'll even file your taxes for you as a part of the membership. This wasn't a part of what was there when I joined, but I'm glad to have it now. But step 2, they said, take the cash that you got and use it to accelerate the process of getting out of debt. In my case, because of, the student loans, the mortgages, the credit cards, we were going to be in debt until I was 74 years of age.
Wow.
The company took the extra cash that they'd allotted me, showed me how to reduce and eliminate all of that debt, all the student loans, all the mortgages, to be debt-free in 6 years. But more powerfully, put it to work right away so that we had a $52,000 in credit card debt in our first year. Now, I want you to understand that picture.
Awesome.
That's a net increase of $3,000 of cash flow of my money from my two biggest enemies. Do you see what's happening now that my money's coming back? So that
Yes.
$3,000 ended up in a larger snowball, paid off my first rental property. I had a property that was due to pay off in 2032. We paid it off 12 years early so that we have, for the first time, an asset that we own free and clear that produces cash independent of me and my efforts. That make sense?
Yes,
Yes.
awesome.
Here's how it goes. Once cash starts flowing to you, it makes it easier to make money decisions, because once we were able to destroy the debts, the credit score, they added this to get to where they shredded the bills, meaning I sent them all the bills that come every month that you can't pay off. Cable bundle, my alarm system, my pest control, did I already say alarm system? Natural gas, across those 5 bills, they saved me $1,500 this year. You do the math, just that part saved me enough to cover the cost of the membership, but it doesn't stop there. They also increased my credit score. Like Tia, I was good, but if your credit's good, they can take you to great. If your credit's great, they can take you to pristine. I went from the mid 700s to an 834.
Awesome.
I want you to understand there's a transformation point in your relationship with creditors where at one point you're begging for money. But at this point, we're seeing who we want to establish a relationship. Can you see how that affects your posture? And here's some other things. These are things I didn't know about credit. Because by the way, we're not a credit restoration agency. We have credit restoration as something that we added to an existing membership. But do you know there are companies out there where their only business, their only product is restoring credit? We not only restore the credit, we also enhance and educate so that people are able to use credit as a tool once they learn better. And I'm not just talking in theory or about the couple of people that you see on this little baby Zoom. So far, the results in the 2 years that we've been partnered with MWR is, on average, they've been able to get a $350 instant pay raise into homes, $400 in deductions, and $250 million saved for our members on their taxes. And then when it comes to lowering the bills, average per month, $140 a month, $3.5 million saved through the negotiations. And then with destroying debt, so far, the average member saves about $64,000 in interest payment. You want to talk about where to get your cash back from so that you have the cash to invest? Understand, until we get out of debt, our debt is an asset in somebody else's asset column. But now we say, not only did we save the money, we saved the time. 37,000 years shaved off the debt sentences, and then average increase in score anywhere 126 points, resulting savings between insurance, interest, and credit cards, about $500 a member. That means this $99 a month membership that brings in about $2,000 a month in savings, so that now people have cash with a comma. Does that make sense? Like I know the feeling. Like I don't know if y'all know. This is one of those obscure facts that I know because I was invited to speak today. Today is World Financial Planner Day. Did y'all know that?
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
Richard.
So here's the thing. Most people don't employ or underemploy financial planners because of a fractured strategy. What's the fracture? They plan to invest what they have left. They ain't got nothing left. Now, with this membership, we're able to put people in a position where you can have an educated conversation with your wealth advisor about strategies to build and grow assets. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And with an attitude. Because here's the fun blessing. is we've already started to have people take the advantage of the things that we're able to do and invest in new asset classes. A part of the membership is the MWR Passport, which gives us unlimited access to a team of wealth experts that take us beyond the traditional tools that we were exposed to. So we get the opportunity to invest in real estate through concepts like land banking and becoming your own bank. Now, let me pause because I know I'm not going to go into detail about this, but I want people to understand this is another place where an old formula has to change. Oops, I'm sorry. I got excited because I know what I'm about to say. Let me calm down.
All good.
When I was
Breathe.
growing up, grandma and them said, now, Ricky, when you get that good job, you got to put some money in your checking, your savings, and some money in your 401k. Is that what they said to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Understand that strategy, it phased out at the end of last century, meaning a bank at this point is a great place to grow money for the bank. See, back
Right.
then there was such
Facts.
thing as like a 3% interest rate that you could get on the right savings account. Right now, banks are paying little or nothing. Matter of fact, who knows how much your bank is paying for savings right now?
0.1.
0.1.
Flip our money. Arbitrage.
Me too. Meaning, and all you gotta do is track through history. Like if you're in the South, my first account was with Georgia Federal. They got acquired by First Union, and they got acquired by Wachovia, and they got acquired by, I ain't gonna say their name, but it rhymes with Bell's Cargo. Every acquisition, what they paid us went down to right now. 0.01 is actually an insult because think about what they're promising. They're saying if you put your money here to grow, you give us $10,000 this year at 0.01%. If you come back at the end of the year, you don't touch that money. You don't do anything with the money, but let it grow. You're going to get $10,001.
It's a shame.
Yes.
Highway robbery.
It's a shame.
Thieves.
I want to be clear. This is one ass dollar. I don't know how long it takes you to set $10,000 aside, but $1, and you got to think about what a bank's business is. They loan money. So they took your $10,000, they made a mortgage loan, some student loans, some credit cards. They're making 6, 12, 24, 30%. That's why they got the biggest building in town. They're making money on our money. And we can only be so mad at the bank because we gave them the money. We got to put
Right.
ourselves in a position where we can be our own bank. Private reserve account.
Yes.
One of the
Yes.
things, one of the things our wealth advisors taught me is one of my favorite new assets because it allows me to be the bank. What do you mean,
Yeah.
Richard? Well, now I have an account where we've averaged. Now this is the average over the last 20 years is 8 to 18% interest per year. The way it behaves when the market goes up, value of the account goes up. When the market goes down or crashes, like it's done several times here during the COVID crisis, we don't lose any money. It stays level and then goes up when the market goes up. So you don't lose any money. And in my 3 years, I've got 12, 14, and 17%. Those are my returns on my private reserve account. You know,
Awesome.
you know that means my worst year, that $10,000 will earn $1,200 versus
Yes. And the path of growth. Yes.
Okay.
And then here's the kicker. You get to do things sophisticated investors do. One of the processes is called arbitrage, where you're able to take money from your private reserve account, invest it in another asset, and still do what the bank does, reflect that all the money is still there. Does that make sense? So I funded my account. We're right now, that account is approaching 6 figures.
I love it.
We're able to pull out 25,000, put it into our next rental property investment. And now the money's doing 2 things. It's building another asset and growing at double-digit interest with no loss. And I set my own terms of repayment. It's a powerful
Great.
concept. You add to that land banking where we're able to invest in land in the path of growth. I see, is that Angela Johnson and Tia Glenn both have land banking deeds where you get, unlike my traditional rental property investments, which I love my rental properties. I love my little houses. But this raw land out there in Green Energy Valley is just amazing what has happened for us. Meaning we took some underperforming retirement assets, were able to buy the land, get the deed, and because of the growth metrics in Antelope Valley, Green Energy Valley, California, you just got to understand when the Warren Buffetts of the world and the Olympics come to an area, it blows up. So we got a 43% increase. The property appraised 43% higher the next year. And it's just that countdown. I'm in Atlanta. I know what happened to Atlanta real estate when the Olympics came back in 1996, right? But here's the thing. We are so excited because we're putting people in a position where they're living the legacy, not just leaving one. I love when Gwen said, we're teaching these things to our daughters. Like our children, we can't count on our children to get the experience and the education they need on finance from school. They don't know. Schools don't know. It's not, I mean, and you got folks like Dana Turnquist. Dana's one of our other partners. He was also a real estate investor. He bought deeds and land, but he was also able to leverage his private reserve account to buy his brand new 14-door Airbnb in Connecticut. He put the money into his private reserve account, pulled out 28, and now every time traveling nurses are coming to his area all the time, it stays one of the top book sites. He got the cash. He invested in an asset that helped them grow another asset, and now both of them are returning more cash. Or you got folks like Richard Greer, Seniors on the Move. He likes vintage cars. He got one of them 72 Beetles. Now, here's the thing. Richard's been retired from Delta, but he still makes an extra $40 a day. He gets a $1,200 extra income to supplement his retirement income. And he's just helping people say, you just because you are retired don't mean you have to be tired. Then, you know, you got Don, he bought a boat, he rents the boat, and he funded it with his instant pay raise and his residual income. Kim Whitfield, one of my favorite people, her story's amazing because she went through a divorce, a move, and a pay cut, but had the asset that she created through this business and her increase in improvement in credit to purchase a brand new home all in the same year. I mean, it's just story after story, people using the membership to free up cash to get assets. But I do want to make sure and be clear, this business is an asset. It's a real asset. And to get the making money side, if you were interested in earning additional daily income, let me see, is there anybody, if somebody, like, imagine this. I started telling people my story and they started paying me for it. Were you going to tell your story anyway?
Yes.
Would it be okay if somebody got you a check?
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
like if you knew that you could help Javon go from worst to first in credit, get a pay raise from his job, and become debt-free in 2 years, would you tell him?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And if
Yes.
Javon went through your website, I mean, again, the investment is, by the way, this $149.97, $150, I call it, is the membership plus $50 for the business center to help you earn additional income by exposing what we do and owning a business that pays for itself, because that's another wealth principle, profitable business. How does it work? Well, simple process. As you share, there are different tiers of income that we pay daily. We get paid every day that ends in day. Does that make sense? Anywhere in this first tier, daily guarantee from $5 to $140 a day. $5, our first level, is an important step. Because I mean, I was so excited, Peter, that first day. I got to my $5 a day ED1 on my second day. You would have thought I hit the lottery, because now I have a self-funded business. I know I can show somebody else how to do that. Now, but is there anybody in a position, you got your phones to show how you know that you got paid today? Okay, I see over there, Angela and William. Let's put the spotlight. What does that say, William?
That is $5 a day.
$5 a day.
Today, every day.
Every day.
So,
Awesome. Awesome. Who else was out there? Then we had Angela. I see you.
Yeah.
And where are you right now?
I'm at
$20 a day.
I'm at
Extra $600 part-time. Like
That's
this.
right.
Well, not, but I can't even call yours part-time.
He's
You messing
retired.
around and retired.
Yes, yes.
But think about it. Anywhere from $5, $5 a day is $150 a month. That means the business is self-funding. And that's my goal for anybody. If I ever talk to you about, if anybody ever shows you a business and can't show you how to self-fund it, run from them. They don't know what they're doing. But just by introducing the concept to 3 people that see it the same way that you do, and 1 outside customer, that puts you at that base level. And then we teach that process. It's that simple. And so you end up with the place right now. I am at $80 a day, just about to bridge into $140 a day part-time. I still work a full-time job. I still have my speaking business, but just imagine what it would be like to have an extra 5,000 come in when you don't have to go. But now this is not it. There are some people that want that six-figure income. Like my brother, Chuck Harden, he introduced me to this concept. He's actually the first person to reach this regional director position, $200 a day, $6,000 a month, $73,000 part-time. Again, it's part-time. He's making full-time income on a part-time basis. And then Brian Bean, who I told you about, was the company's first $1,000 a day income earner. He's so good at the things that he does. He got there so fast that they altered the comp plan to give him new incentive. But let me ask you, if you could get somewhere between $6,000 and $30,000 a month passively, would it help?
Yes.
Yes.
And it doesn't even stop there. You just got to open up your mind and dream again, because from there, he's just about to break over into this $1,500 a day. A company's willing to pay up to $8,500 a day. That's $255,000 a month. Anybody be excited about telling people I had a good year last month? And again, it starts small. I don't want anybody to think that Brian was born making $1,000 a day. He worked hard. He taught a lot of people, helped a lot of people. It goes 20, 200, 500, 1,000, no limit except the limit of people that you're willing to help. Does that make sense? And once these things start to come together, once you've got your money back, once you got your cash back from the thieves that took it, once you've got an additional asset that's generating passive income independent of your time. I want you to understand, the person that invited you doesn't even have to be on the line unless it's me. But they're still potentially making money right now. What asset can we help you build? Like Quanta Sims, she used to manage nightclubs, but she got started with this first time in the industry. She made it to that $140 a day, $4,200 a month. She likes investing in gold bullion. Like, we already talked about myself and my brother. Me and Chuck, we've been playing Monopoly for years. That's still our favorite strategy. 4 green houses, 1 red hotel. And as I get assets, understand the company, the debt elimination plan helped me pay off this house and help me pay this one off in a year or 2. Awesome. And what can I do with that?
Nice.
Some more houses. And then more important, I mean, you got to think about the imagination of people like Derek Ray's retired military sergeant. He didn't just buy some land. He got heads of cattle, right? It's so many success stories. Charles and Judah. Charles lost his job right at the beginning of the pandemic, kicked into gear with this, was able to pay the home that they had off to buy this land out here in Hinesville, Georgia. They call it Hines Vegas. And if you go to their original house, like their house is nice. They're building all this as a ranch. It's a 6,000 square foot ranch on the come on, man. And as much as I like all these stories, the best story, it hadn't even been written yet. It's a story that you'll write when you decide that you want to get your cash, buy some assets and grow some more cash, but you got to get started somewhere. And at the end of this conversation, because I'm done. I'll pause for questions and tell you about some things coming up. But it's 2 conversations that people normally have at the end of this conversation with me. And number 2 says, you know what? I just want to expand my cash flow. I want the experts to do everything they can to help me get some money back. And once I get that money, I'd be interested in learning how to invest it. And they're asking themselves, well, what's the gotcha? Listen, there's no gotcha. There's no catch. They already got your money. They already caught your check at the direct deposit point. We trying to get you free from those things. The membership, the $99.97 covers you and your spouse. So you don't have to argue about silly things like who's getting the pay raise or who's getting their tax. They work with both of you. And if you refer 3 people to the membership, when they sign up, your membership is free. And you still get access to the experts. But the people that really understand taxes, tax structure, and asset creation usually say I'm a number 1. I'm all in. I want all of it. I want to expand my cash flow, get all of my money back, add some more money to it, earn some daily income, and then allow both of those things to grow so that I can create and make wealth real faster. $150 investment, $149.97. Let me be numerically precise because I'm a math guy. And then the simple investment equation comes down to, what are you willing to do to create an asset that gets your cash back makes you new cash so that you're in position to grow that cash and really move to the next level. And I know sometimes people have all kind of thoughts going through their head. I don't know what the people in my circle are going to think about me and what I'm doing and, you know, all these things. Listen, when you find yourself trapped from doing things that make sense to you by what you think other people think of you, that's how your circle turns into a cage. Be willing to do a new thing and create a new result. One of my friends, Tia, she told me, she said, it sounds too good to be true. I said, well, if it's good and it's true, who taught you? Who taught you that that's not for you? Do all the due diligence you need. I'm willing to be transparent, share everything that we've been through in this membership. But after you do it, make a decision, because not making a decision is a decision. It's a decision in default. What's the default situation for most people working hard in America? Taxes, debt, big business, and inflation eat every check, keep them check to check. When things get bad, they get check behind the check, and they're looking around trying to figure out how they're going to save their neck. We got the solution. Let's help them.
Yes.
Make sense?
Yes.
All right, with
Yeah,
that, I'm
absolutely.
done. I'll pause for questions. Any questions? Did I miss any questions in the chat? No questions in the chat. All comments, all positive, all good. No questions, no questions. That means I must have done okay.
Outstanding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great
job.
Spectacular job, Dan.
Good job.
That was a tight professional presentation, excited, fired up, on fire.
I'm doing my best. I'm working on it. Just wait till I get good. Wait till I get good. Oh, speaking of wait till I get good. My mentor, I told you about him earlier, Brian Bean, is doing a presentation like this, except better, at 8:30 Eastern time. If you have somebody that saw this, but needs to see a bigger picture, get together with the person that invited you. He'll be on. You write this website down. Incomeistheoutcome.com. Incomeistheoutcome.com. 5-star regional director, Brian M. Bean, founder, mentor to millions. He'll be doing an overview at 8:30. His commitment that he's always done in 30 minutes, because at 9:30, he's going to teach and train step for step, word for word, how to get your mind right so that you deliver the message successfully so that the money runs you over.
Yeah,
That
man.
sound good?
Yes.
All right, so
That's great.
8:30 and 9:30, I'm going to be there taking notes so I can be better next week. All right.
All right.
Absolutely.
See you soon.
Thank you so much.
Me
Good
too.
job.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you,
Pleasure.
Richard.
Good job.
Thank you, Mr. Harmon.
Great job, Tia Glenn. Great job.
Thanks for joining, everyone.